What is going on, FA Nation? John Bevy here with your MLB DFS Playbook preview show for Tuesday's 11-game main slate. Appreciate you all tuning in here. If you give a like, hit a follow, hit a share on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, a free way to support the work we do here over on the Fantasy Alarm channels here. Again, we got 11 games coming off just a 3-game Monday main slate. We have Coors Field on this slate, and we have a pretty decent amount of options for us to attack here. So let's waste no time getting into today's main slate here. I'm going to start things off, obviously, at the pitching position. And I got to be honest with you, when I'm looking at the starting pitching here, I understand Tarek Skubal gets the Minnesota Twins 10-5, Dylan Cease against the Rangers at 10-3. But I'm just gravitating right to Grayson Rodriguez here at $9,400. I understand he had that blow-up start against the Houston Astros, but the strikeout numbers have been pretty consistent for him, and now we're going up against a Seattle Mariners team. We know they have the highest strikeout rate in baseball against right-handed pitching. We know that Grayson Rodriguez is a guy with a 10K per nine, a high strikeout percentage, and of course, we know the Baltimore Orioles offense backing him gives him a great chance for some win equity there. Already 9 wins on the season, 20 or more fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 starts. So, for me, if you want to spend up, go for it. There are certainly some guys there with some high ceilings like Tarek Skubal in that matchup against the Twins. But $9,400, Grayson Rodriguez feels like the best bang for the buck at the top. If you want to pivot, I also don't mind Reynaldo Lopez. I know a couple of walks got him some trouble against the Cardinals there. 5 innings, 87 pitches. But again, the Braves offense, starting to click. 6 wins for him, a sub-2 ERA. They're at home, and they're going up against a Giants offense that, again, leaves a lot really to be desired, especially against right-handed pitching. So 2 guys I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily spending all the way up at starting pitcher today. I'm going to be looking at Grayson Rodriguez and Reynaldo Lopez in that 9K tier. Only a few other starters, despite this being 11-game slate that I'm kind of looking at. Brady Singer against Tampa Bay. Again, Singer back-to-back strong starts. Obviously, easy matchup against Miami. Took advantage of it. Pitched well against Texas. Bit of a hiccup, but not the worst start against the Dodgers there. Low 3 ERA. Again, a matchup at home and against the Tampa Bay Rays offense that is really struggling. Again, not a great offense. Bottom 5 in the league in most categories there against right-handed pitching. Decent little strikeout rate on them here. So, Brady Singer, Tampa Bay, you get the Royals likely as favorites in this matchup with Zach Little on the other side. Definitely like this at $8,200. Again, we go back and forth picking our spots. With Brady Singer, to me, this feels like, one of those matchups to go ahead. Tampa Bay 24th in WOBA on the year, near 24% strikeout rate. So Brady Singer at $8,200. And then we're going to go to a guy that's coming off the IL, and that is Jose Soriano. There's certainly a bit of risk taking a guy here that's missed some time in his first start back, but we're really looking maybe at the matchup against Oakland. Oakland here, 27th and weighted on base. A 27% strikeout rate is second highest in baseball against right-handed pitching. They have the second lowest batting average against right-handed pitching on the year. And Soriano really hasn't been terrible. He's got a 3.48 ERA, but those are kind of in line with his, expected ERA, his xFIP, and his Sierra. So it's not as if there's any sort of massive regression signs. We would like to see him maybe strike out a few more hitters, but if you go look at sort of his rest of season projections over on Fangraphs, they got him around a 9K per nine. He's currently sitting around 7.5. So if those strikeouts do start to tick up here over the next couple of starts, I think we're going to really be in line for him. And I know the Angels offense is not great, but Mitch Spence pitching across from him in this game hasn't pitched well for Oakland. So maybe there is a shot for the Angels offense to score some runs. Certainly you kind of wonder if there's going to be any sort of limitations for him, given that he hasn't pitched since early June here. But, he's coming off some really good outings, 8 innings against Arizona, 2 earned in that start. Pitched really well against Texas. Okay start against Cleveland here. Good start against San Diego. So, Jose Soriano is a guy that was really trending well, ended up dealing with that problem with the abdominal infection. If the arm's good to go, I'm willing to take a shot at $7,500 because after that, I didn't really like much of the starting pitching group. If you want to go Simeon Wood Richardson at 72, you can. Match up against Detroit certainly seems a bit favorable, but know that Tarek Skubal is the guy that he's going across. And then nothing else after that. Like, you're not going to go Mercado, Graham Ashcraft, Spence, Wednesky or Birdsong are in tough spots here. So you're not going to pitch any of the cores guys. Ryan Nelson's terrible. So, For me, Soriano, I think is the cheapest. I'd be willing to go at $7,500. Moving on to the catcher position. Again, this is a spot we generally look to say we'll find the cheapest bats and plug in. Cheapest bat for me is going to be Sean Murphy against Birdsong at 35. Now, we don't have the official starting lineups out yet. We'll be back here live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We do get the starting lineups out. We'll know if any of these min-price or cheaper catchers are available, but Murphy for me against Birdsong at 3,500. And then why not just go with the Coors bats? Going up against Dallas Keuchel, Jacob Stallings at home against righties, against left-handed pitching. He has murdered them this year. A ton of power for him. And then Elias Diaz, is back for them. We know historically he has hit left-handed pitching really well over the course of his career. Should be starting. He would be my favorite catcher of the day going up against Dallas Keuchel. So those are a couple of catchers that I'm looking at. Again, we'll get official lineups out when we do the 5 p.m. live stream. We'll get a better indication of where we want to go. Over at first base, again, 11-game slate, so all the usual suspects are up there. Freeman against Nelson. Now, Ryan Nelson has some crazy splits. Righties are really doing the majority of the damage. Now, that's not to say someone like Ohtani and Freddie Freeman aren't going to get their licks in here in this matchup, but definitely a spot where right-handed hitters have just absolutely demolished him. 372 batting average, 577 slug. Lefties just a 260 batting average, still a 466 weighted on base there. So our slugging percentage rather, and 1.4 homers per 9. So Ohtani and Freeman certainly can still get the job done. Matt Olson, $5,200 is fine. Vlad Guerrero at 46. Assuming he can bounce back from that hit by pitch. Now he's scratched from the Monday lineup after getting hit in the hand by Garrett Cole. So we'll see if he's back in the lineup. But if he is in the lineup, this is a steal against Spencer Arrighetti at $4,600. He would probably be one of my best, price per value guys on the board, just given the way he's been hitting right now for power, driving and runs, 20 RBIs over his last 10, 6 homers. All of that looks pretty strong. And then, of course, you have the Coors Field plays. You have Rhys Hoskins against Feltner at 46, or Bowers at 45 against Feltner. Again, Bowers is the lefty. Hoskins is the righty. Whoever's in the lineup there, you're going to want to take advantage of this matchup going up against Feltner there in Coors. After that, again, not a ton of obvious value. Again, 4,400. Pascantino's fine. Louis Hill's been getting hit around. Maybe you think Candelario can get to him. The Orioles did get the George Kirby in their one matchup earlier this year. They scored 5 runs off him. Do you think that sort of continues? Maybe he struggles against a good offense here. O'Hearn is 4K. Michael Busch has some power if you wanted to chase that around. But, for me, there's really not a lot there. Nolan Shanuel against Mitch Spence, sure. But that's about it for value plays for me here. Second base is kind of a loaded position. I know it's Tarek Skubal, but Willie Castro has just been a menace lately. And he has some crazy good splits against left-handed pitching on the season that maybe you want to take a shot at a very low rostered play here. Because, again, I don't imagine many people are looking to go up against Tarek Skubal. But Willie Castro's hitting 377 on the year with a 440 WOBA and a 234 ISO against left-handed pitching. So I can certainly take a look at him here, but just down the list, Spencer Horwitz against Arrighetti, Massey against Little, Herner versus Mercado, Jonathan India at 4K, hitting 500 over his last 10 games on fire, continues to lead off for them. We mentioned Louis Hill has been struggling of late. And then you have the Brendan Rodgers play. This guy is, essentially still in the league due to his ability to hit for power against left-handed pitching, and you get him in Coors Field, and he's under $4,000. Probably looking at your highest rostered second baseman on the slate here for 11 games, honestly. Over at third base, again, you can go up at the top. There's guys like Alec Boehm and Austin Riley there. Not really going to tempt Royce Lewis. He's been in a little bit of a slump lately, and obviously Skubal pretty good. Machado had the 2-homer game the other day. You certainly can if you want to go ahead and throw him against Evaldi, but not my favorite spot at the price. McMahon versus Keuchel, not afraid of the lefty spot there. So if you're looking to spend up, I think Boehm, Riley, and McMahon are the 3 for me. Going down to the mid-tier, you have Christopher Morel if you want to chase some home run upside. Josh Smith, again, I'm not worried about Dylan Cease necessarily here. If you want to go with Josh Smith at 4,200, he's been very consistent for us. I think he can. And then, Novelli Marte, there's some talent there, hasn't necessarily shined through. And then for a one-off home run play, Vegas sportsbooks have been giving you Miguel Sano home run props, so like plus 250, plus 300, some of the higher odds to homer lines you've seen. Now, he hasn't come through yet. We know he's a big bat. Mitch Spence is not a good pitcher. Maybe this is a day where Miguel Sano can put one in the stands. That's probably about it for value here. Again, we'll get some official starting lineups, maybe some other names pop up, but that's where I'm going at third base. For shortstop, again, hard not to like Gunnar Henderson, just given everything he's done. I know George Kirby's a really good starting pitcher, but again, they got to him earlier this season, 5 runs over 6 innings, so maybe there's an opportunity for Gunnar Henderson here to go off. Loving Bobby Witt against Zach Little at $6,400. Ellie against Heel, $62. Turner against Wineski, $6K. And even Willie Adames gets a righty, which is definitely the spot we like. Now, he's not at home, but he's in Coors. That has to count for something, right? So you got him. If you want to spend up really on any of those guys, that's fine. Carlos Correa has been on fire of late. You can continue to ride him. And then you have Tovar versus a lefty, $5,100. So a ton of spend ups. Those are all 5K and above. So if you're going to be building some lineups and you're going to include one of these guys in it, you're going to have to find some value elsewhere. As we work our way down the list, there's really only one value play I'm looking at. That's IKF, Isaiah Kiner Falefa against Spencer Arrighetti. Hitting 420. He's only $3,400. Going to hit the top of the lineup here. Or at least a wraparound potential stack for IKF. So definitely want to be looking at him as some value if you're not looking to spend up. You can probably give Perdomo a look here as well, assuming he's in the lineup. He'll bat from the left side against Bobby Miller. Outfield. Again, kind of pick your poison. You have Ohtani. You got the Yankees outfielders in Judge and Soto. You have Brewers outfielders and Christian Yelich, Sal Frelick, Jackson Chourio as options. But they also activated Garrett Mitchell as well. And I'm just kind of running through this Coors matchup. Mitchell down here under $4,000. 3,900. We'll see if he plays on the Monday or not, but it was activated here for this game. Lefty bat against Feltner. We know the talent, obviously a good prospect for them. Has dealt with some injuries, hit really well during his rehab outing. So, keep in mind Garrett Mitchell there when you're looking for some value. Christian Yelich, as we talked about, is up at the top. Really can just pick your poison here. They're all fine. I mentioned righties have been the one to do the damage against Ryan Nelson. So Teoscar Hernandez is here. If you can go that, where's Pajes? Pajes at 4K also can be in play against Nelson. Jackson Merrill has been on fire. Certainly okay using him against Evaldi if you wanted to go there. Willie Castro, Jock Peterson against Bobby Miller. I'm good. Again, righty-lefty matchup. Brenton Doyle versus Keuchel rather at $4,700 in a really good spot. And then we have Jared Kelenic down here as well, still leading off against Birdsong, 39 along with Mitchell in those price points. So some good value, some great options here on this slate. Chourio, 3,700 is starting to hit around, as I mentioned. So again, we'll get some official lineups. We'll find if there are any cheaper options that kind of plug into your lineups here. But let's see if we get a quick lineup build for everybody. I'm going to go Grayson Rodriguez and Soriano. Go Elias Diaz. Let's see. Where do we want to go for some value here? I feel like we wanted Brendan Rodgers at second. Or we can use IKF here, but I'm going to go Rodgers at 37. Shortstop. Are we spending up at shortstop? We might have. So we can go for some value. I like Chourio. It's 40-1. Let's see. Where was Guerrero? It's 46. Third base. We had a value third base. And let's chase the home run with Sano. Get some value in there. Outfield. So we need another value outfielder. Let's go. Yeah, where was Mitchell? 39. 46.50 for shortstop and an outfielder. Can we get a top shortstop here? You just stack Tovar. Let's go core stack. $4,200 in the outfield. There you go. Sal Frelick. Oh, Jackson Frelick. Do we want to fold stack cores? Feels like it's going to be pretty chalky. Merrill's been on fire. Let's go Jackson Merrill against Evaldi here. So Grayson Rodriguez, Jose Soriano, Elias Diaz, Vlad Guerrero, one-off play. Brandon Rodgers, Miguel Sano, Tovar, Chourio, Mitchell, and Merrill getting us some Coors Field exposure there for everybody. Again, we'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We appreciate you all tuning in here. If you don't already know, the Fantasy Football Draft Guide is live. Go to fantasy.com/guide to take a look at that. You can scan that QR code there on the screen as well. If you're an All-Pro member, you get your draft guide included in your subscription. If you're not yet an All-Pro member, go sign up. Get that first month for less than $20 when you use promo code Let's Go. Again, we'll be back live 5 p.m. Eastern time, everybody. Until then, we'll catch you all later.